Hello and welcome to a special edition of SMAC TV. My name is Joseph Feaster. While I am the host on Community Forum, I'm here today to do a special program so you can learn a little bit more about Stoughton Media Access. I want to first welcome my guests here today. I have Gina Coe is to my immediate right. Next to her is Anya Zolnik.
You got it.
I was practicing Anna and Anya. Next to her is the chairman of the SMAC board, John Stagnone. Next to him is Rob Rotella, who is, I think, now the executive producer or station manager, because that's Anya's job. And to my back row are the Luke Asick. Miguel Mills, I'll get it right after a while, and then TJ Chamberlain. So welcome to the special edition of Stoughton Media Access. So, John, I'd like to start with you because I'd like people to know, you know how I do each program, I like people to know something about the history of one, what we're going to be talking about. You can talk a little bit about yourself, and I want each of you to tell the viewing audience a little bit about you and then what you're doing here on the station. So I'll start with you, John.
Well, thank you, Joseph, for coming here and doing this for us. We appreciate it. Definitely have a lot of great things happening here, and that's what we've taken the opportunity to show the residents what's available to them. So I've been on the board of directors since the start of Stoughton Media Access Corporation. I started out on the Cable Advisory Committee and became their representative on the board.
When was that? How many years are we talking about, John?
It's 13 years, I believe.
13 years,
2009
all right.
We started out, and at first we didn't have our own studio, of course, because we were a brand new corporation. We rented over in Easton and had they were very nice to us, and then we found this location, and with the help of Steve Bates, well, actually Steve did all the heavy lifting and stuff. We hired an architect and stuff and designed the studio. We demoed the whole, the facilities and built this brand new studio, and it's one of the best ones that, from what we get compliments of, it's one of the best ones in the area, and people just love coming here. So, and it's a pleasure to have been part of it.
Well, I know in turn I'm going to go to Gina because we had we outside of you, John, we've had the longest relationship. Gina was here. She used to do the production, the executive producing on Community Forum for me. And I was just surprised. We were chatting offline and she tells me her daughter is now 19 years old. I'm glad that I'm getting younger as we move along, but and second year of college. So Gina,
yes.
Talk about your role. I know you're on the board, and like I said, you were the one of the executive producers for Community Forum for me. So talk about what brings you here and what you're doing here at Stoughton Media Access Corporation.
Well, I started, my daughter was actually a guest on the show, and she did Little Theater of Stoughton, and so that brought me into the studio. I did have a degree in communications at the time, so Roy was the producer. It was Community Forum. And he invited me back the next week to sit with him, and he showed me the lay of the land in the control room, and then it turned into many years of volunteering.
So he
with
roped
him.
you in like he did me.
He roped us. He's very good at that.
Oh,
yes,
please.
Very good at that. So yeah, so I for many years, I was trying to think back. It could be close to 9 years ago that was, and from there. There was a lot of off-site shoots. We did the Hometown Business Show, and which we may actually, we talked about bringing that back, which would be really great. And then almost 2 years ago, I was asked by the Stoughton School Committee if they could appoint me as one of the board members. And I was flattered, and I was happy to do it. So. Here we are.
Well, I'm sure they certainly Stoughton Media Access Corporation, is blessed to have you involved and serving in all of those capacities. But now I need to do a drum roll because I want to, want to make sure that our viewing audience gets a chance to meet you. Anya, please tell our viewing audience a bit about you, some of the things that you're doing here at the program, and then, of course, I'll let you introduce your staff.
So I'm very excited to be here. When I came for my first interview here, I was just like really amazed how wonderful the studio looks like, you know, when they told me how many different shows they did in the past. And then they told me that they have another small studio, and I'm like, wow, you know, this is like a really amazing facility. You could just feel, you know, the vibe in the town. You know, the town has a new high school, has a new library, you know, all those new projects that are coming up. So I was very excited to come here because I could just feel that a lot of good things are going to be happening in the town, and I'd like to be a part of it. And I could just tell that, you know, the studio has been very active for last 12 years, maybe even a little bit more than 12 years. And it would be like, you know, a great place to work, do all kinds of programs showing what the community is doing, what the kids at the high school are doing, you know, all the different things that are going on here. And I also would like to thank you for coming today, interviewing us. So, you know, everyone gets to know my staff. So from the right, I have Rob Rotella. I just couldn't say, you know, enough nice thing about him. Here is Luke Asak that joined us a little bit over a year ago. I've been only here for a few months. Then during the summer, we got 5 new interns. So this is TJ. So TJ does a sports podcast. This is Miguel, who does lots of things, so many things for us that, you know, it will be hard to mention all of them, but he does games at the high school. He even covers government meetings. He covers different events that take place around the town. Last Saturday, him and another intern, who unfortunately we can't see, but he's switching. They went to record the Glen Echo opening, so they help us with a lot of different things. I'm gonna let them all introduce themselves and, you know, say when they started working here and what they're working on. But they all have lots of wonderful ideas, so I hope they'll share some of them. I'm gonna start with Rob.
So my name's Rob. I've been here since 2012, early 2012. I think it was January in 2012 I came on. Kind of like Gina. Roy was kind of my introduction to here.
Now stop. We're giving her too much credit.
He
He's gonna
might
swell
be.
his head up. I wanted to
I
be
know.
able to call him.
I know. Next time we see you, might not be able to fit in the door. But yeah, I was gonna come intern for his show because I heard that he needed some help with the production. And I was trying to get my foot in the door to video production, coming straight out of college, trying to find something in my field. So I came here, and not too long after that, I started working part-time at the studio. And yeah, for the past 2 years, I've been, I started as an associate producer, and then last year I went up to program director. So my day-to-day is basically scheduling out things that come in, send emails to residents in the town, wondering what we might be playing throughout the week. Being in contact with committee members, seeing if we can cover certain meetings, certain events, all that fun stuff. And then my main job is making sure the 3 channels, the public, education, and government channel, run smoothly every week, and to add new programming every week as whatever we get in, try to put that back out every week when we get stuff. So we've been doing our best to you know, try and play some new programs. Right now, we're actually, me and Luke are in the middle of redoing the entire schedule. It hasn't been changed in a couple years, but we really want to try to showcase new people coming in, new producers coming in, new things going on in the town. We have a lot of great old programs, but we're also trying to showcase some great new ones coming up. So that's our project right now, and hopefully in the next week or two we can have everything layered out. And that. So if anyone wants to come record some shows here at SMAC, we'll be happy to help out.
Well, you know, congratulations. I mean, again, you talk about that 2012, and shortly after that I know that I joined, you know, with Community Forum. So I'm glad to see that they wisely have given you that position of program manager. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations on that. Well, I'm going to go to Luke since you mentioned his name. You put him on Front Street.
Yep.
So I'm going to make sure, you know. So Luke, tell us who you are and what you do here at the station.
So I'm Luke Azak. I do a little bit of everything basically. So government meetings, town events, people come here in the studio. I'm usually behind the camera. If not, I'm at a computer. And actually the first time I came here to film anything was in 2012 in high school. as just I wanted to do video stuff. I was into the field, so I came here to film a couple sketches, a couple of things, and then when they needed more people, they brought me on part-time, said, you're not getting enough hours, we need you longer, got more hours, now I'm full-time because just love doing it, and I love, making these shows happen. It's what I've been doing since high school.
You know what's interesting with both what you and Rob both have said thus far, and I probably will hear the same from Miguel and TJ, is you came here with an interest for something that you like, you got the opportunity, and now you have it from as an avocation or a profession. And so I want the young people out there to recognize that that's how things get started. Sometimes you come in as a volunteer, sometimes you come in with an interest, and then an opportunity will present itself. So, I just wanted to underscore that. So you young people out there, listen to Rob and Luke. There can be opportunities for you. You want to pass it on? Let's since Miguel's right there. Why don't Miguel? Anya had said in the introduction when we were speaking offline that you, I would say, if we're using sports analogy, you are the utility person. You do it all. So why don't you tell us what all the things that you do here at the station?
Yeah, my name's Miguel. I'm a fourth-year student at SHS. I've been doing video production stuff since even prior to high school. and middle school, I did something with Mr. Boucher, who runs the video department at Stoughton. I've always had a love for it and just the communications field, which I'm interested in studying in college too. And really here at SMAC, I've been doing a lot of stuff, pretty much shadowing Luke a lot of times, because a lot of the meetings he does, the events, the sports, that's also been the same with me. And I was really thankful for this internship that I got. I started in late June is when I started, so I've been here close to 5-6 months now. I think it's really been a great opportunity, especially for the passion that I have for it, and it's really helpful because I've had other jobs doing other stuff, but when it's something that you really like, it doesn't feel like a job, which I feel like is the most important thing. And I also feel like that for SMAC, it's also really helpful to have interns, especially because we can provide a different perspective. With us being in high school, so we experience those events, and it's kind of good to have people of all different generations and different diversity.
Well, I'm just going to ask you because you've given the general big picture of your utility play. Let's talk about some specifics. What are some of the things that you are doing and covering and participating in while you're working here at SMAC?
This fall season, I covered football games on Fridays from the sidelines, while Rob did it from up top usually, and Chris would be there to help me. Looking forward to doing more sports. Also, community events. In the summer, we filmed the Stoughton Lions Summer Concert Series. That was really helpful. Showed me how to, maneuver cameras and stuff a little bit more. And overall, I think there's just a lot more stuff, such as parades I've never done. There's one Friday I'm hoping to do. So I feel like it could just all be really helpful.
Great. Why don't you pass the mic to TJ? I understand he's the sportsman here. He covers all the sporting events. See, I was paying attention on you when you were telling me these things about these individuals. So TJ, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about what you're doing here at SMAC.
All right, so the main focus for me is sports when it comes to some of the games that we've done, whether it be for football or soccer. If you listen to the games we've done, and I think a friend of mine put this best, if it sounded like a fan just walked into an announce booth, that's me in a nutshell when I'm doing this.
I love it.
And especially with football, because there's always something happening, and we've had a couple close games this year for football that, especially near the end, just the energy's going, and I honestly love doing that. And on top of that, also doing the podcast I do here, which you can find on Spotify.
So therefore, TJ, there's not a camera that you don't like. Is that correct?
There's not a camera I don't like. I mean, if it's sports related, oh yeah, all for it. And on top of doing the stuff at the middle school. I graduated from Southeastern. I was in their video and performing arts program for 4 years. Shout out to Mr. Cross and Ms. Canastra if you are watching this.
I love it.
Learned a lot from them, and I've been using a lot of that into what I've been doing with not only my podcast here, but also just the prep work for it, and even if I'm doing something at home that's anything sports related.
Thank you, TJ. I just want to, because I want to just move in some other areas for a moment, because I think that is important because this is an organization. There is the leadership in terms of the board and the support that they have to do. And John, I want you to speak to that. There is the leadership by you, Anya, in terms of the senior management here with Rob, and then along with both in terms of Luke and the interns to put it together. There's Gina, who's in terms of board, but also knows some of the technical aspects. John, I'd like you to talk about what's necessary from the standpoint of the board. What does the board have to do in order to keep this running? Then Anya, I want you to talk about, I know you've only been here a few short months, but, you strike me as one who's going to get up to speed very, very quickly. What are some of the things that you have here in terms of changes that might be made and things in the future? And Gina, I'd like you to chime in when either from the standpoint of what John will be talking about with the board, or otherwise as you see, because you've been here, I think we're talking about either you, Rob, or I have been. I think Rob's been here longer than me, and I've only been a host, so not on the technical side, but you and Rob have also been here through the whole technical aspect. So we'll cover some of that, and if time permits, I'll come back to you, Luke, Miguel, and TJ, but I'm going to stay on this front row for a moment here. So I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Chairman, to talk about what is the role of the board, what is, in terms of keeping this together, putting it together, fundraising, whatever it takes to get it done. And, I'm going to start because I know there's an election that's going to be coming up, so I'm going to talk about that as well. So go ahead.
Yeah, so from the board of directors standpoint, basically Anya runs the day-to-day operations. She's in charge of hiring, the employees and things like that, and overseeing their schedules and all that stuff. So, we have a great team. The board is very happy with everything that's going on. And as you heard, there's some new things, podcasts were not around before. So we're, the board, when we got news about that, that's a great thing. And I do want to just step back 1 second, because TJ here is also a recipient of a scholarship. SMAC offers scholarships to Southeastern Regional students and Stoughton High School students that are going into communications. So there is opportunities for that. But TJ was this year is a recipient of that.
Congratulations
as well.
Congratulations.
So, but as far as the board goes,
how many members on the board?
There's 5 members.
Okay.
2 are appointed by the Board of Selectmen. 2 are appointed through an election process through the membership. And then there's Gina,
And
who's
there's me.
appointed by the school committee.
Yes,
Then there's
And we have a great board. Everybody works great together. And basically, like Anya came in, and one of the first things she did is kind of evaluated everything that was here. Looked at the equipment, did an inventory, went through our inventory and stuff, and it's got all that. And we started noticing, Anya says, hey, this all stuff is, really old and starting to run slower, and is, you can't update the software anymore and things like that. So we've just got into, replacing a lot of equipment that's been, has kind of been, should have been replaced over time, probably a little bit sooner. But by Anya's taking the lead on all that, we've been able to catch up on a lot of that things, and so the staff has now got new computers, and we got new equipment in the town hall that helps us with the virtual meetings and things like that. So basically, we're here to support the staff and Anya and whatever they need, and then prepare the budget for the year through Anya's input as well, and work with the town as well as doing the financial reviews and agreements and all that stuff. So.
Well, let me come to Gina. If where does the funding come from? John has mentioned several things, and if it's not, since he's the chair, you want him to do that. But why don't you talk about, in terms of from your standpoint, from the board role, as well as your having been here for some time, and if not, John, I'll come back to you on the question. Well, how is this place funded as well? But why don't you talk about some of your role, Gina, in terms of serving in those 2 capacities that you've had?
well, serving SMAC as a volunteer was very rewarding. So it has a special place in my heart. So to be able to be on the board and just, it's my number one priority is what's best for SMAC. So we all work very well together. Anya's been fantastic coming on board, and yes, with the equipment, the upgrades and everything that we need. We like to think that it makes all their jobs a lot easier. And funding, John, if you want to.
Yeah, how
Talk about exactly how
is
it's funded?
SMAC funded? Source of funds.
Yeah, well, one of the things I want to back up, because Gina is, hasn't given herself enough credit in our roles that she plays with the SMAC team here, is because she's our liaison to the school committee or whatever, and so our involvement with the schools has been, greater since she's come on board. We got better relationships right now, and with Anya on board, she's also just grew those relationships, and I think the people will see that in the programming. We're doing a lot more shows, or more sports, able to cover more sports and things, because we have a lot more cooperation on both sides. And with the interns here and getting involved and stuff, it has helped us lift that. As far as funding goes, our funding comes through the local cable bills. There's a franchise fee on everybody that has cable, Verizon or Comcast. If you have that service, there's a little fee on there that on everybody's bill every month. So that money comes in, and that's what funds us, the operations here.
I want to come back to you, Anya, because I think as the captain of this ship, you're the one who is going to have to bring all these things together. So why don't you speak about some of the things that have been mentioned? There's the financing, there's the programming, there is the equipment. What are some of the things in your role that you see now, and what are some of your aspirations going forward?
And that's a great question. So I really would like the station to grow in terms of programming, in terms of how many volunteers we have, how many people come here record shows, how many interns we have. Right now I'm also looking to get 2 or 3 college interns for us, because I'd love to have like a news program and some other things that college students might be interested in doing for us. I can't say enough things about the staff, interns, and the board. I sometimes feel bad because they got most of their equipment 12 years ago, and they really took good care of it. But at some point you have to replace, and it's unfortunately me that has to go and tell them. They've been very receptive. So we're gonna be changing and updating things. We can't do everything right away. It will take us 10 or 12 months, but the board is very responsive, and we're gonna evaluate all the equipment that we have here and see what needs to be replaced, because everything in television production and video production is technology based. So it's just how it is. It changes very quickly, and we have to keep up with it. We already have some new shows. We have a new show called Dynamic Connections. We already recorded one. We're recording another one this Wednesday. It's about local businesses. It's hosted by Janet Travellini, who runs the Chamber of Commerce for the town of Stoughton and Randolph. And we're hoping to get more shows. A lot of our old producers are coming back. I actually got an email today from one of our old producers that he wants to come back. We already have, a lot of great producers that are doing shows like Frank Walsh, Peter Ventresco, and we're hoping to even, get more producers that used to have here shows in the past.
Well, that's great. Well, I've already gone over time, so I might as well continue. So I'm going to I would like Rob, Luke, Miguel, and TJ just to, what's on your mind? This is your opportunity to speak to the, to the leadership here that you have, as well as to speak to, the viewing audience as to some of the things, because I know each of you have impressed me as being very thoughtful and appreciative of the work that you're doing. So what parting comments would you like to leave with the viewing audience? Starting with you, Rob.
So recently we've really been trying to upgrade as much as possible programs and studio equipment, just how we run things internally and kind of how we handle field work and things of that nature. And I think with the help of our interns and Anya and the board and everyone kind of just working together, I think we're starting to get to a stage where we're going to be getting a lot more shows, and we're going to be able to cover a lot more events. With me and Luke right now, we're a two-man staff, so it's a little more difficult if there's a lot of events in one night for me and him to cover. So that's when these guys come in and really help out. And since I've been here, we've had some interns here or there, but nothing consistent. And this is a great, consistent team we have right now. And we're really just trying to upgrade and to reach out more to the audience that's watching us, and try to invite everyone in. And we want to do more shows. We want to include more of the community, and we're doing our best to get out there and to cover all the great events in Stoughton. So
Great. Luke, any, and then Miguel, and then TJ, I'm gonna give you, since there's a mic, since there's a mic nor a camera that you don't like, so I'm gonna give you next to the last word, because I'm gonna have the last one. Go ahead, Luke.
I guess what I would say, because I come from a music background as well as a video background, so my main thing is, if you're out there, you're a musician or anything, please either contact us and come down and film something. We love music. We love anything different. If somebody has a short film they want to do, a crazy sketch idea they want to do, we have a green screen. We can do whatever you want. I just love different. So my word to the audience would just be, if you have some crazy idea you want to try, you don't know how to do it, come down and we'll teach you or help you do it.
Great. Miguel?
Overall, I really just want to highlight how hard a lot of everyone works here. Like, you can see it with some of our productions. I mean, the turnaround time, some things get out in less than 24 hours, and Luke and Rob and Anya and even the board, they all work very hard. And I just want to, I think I can speak for all the interns when I say we just want to make their job a little easier, while also gaining the skills we can keep forever and developing those skills to help them.
Great. TJ?
All right, so for me, first off, I'd like to thank the board. I've really been enjoying my time here at Stoughton Cable. Also, for the fall athletics, just real quick moment, I'd like to thank Miguel, Rob, and Luke, because I know just trying to get camera work while I'm also doing commentary, at times that could kind of be an adventure. Luke and Rob know that better than anyone else.
But the commentary is really upped our games, and I'm really happy that he's doing commentary with us now, because in the past couple years it's just the game with the sound from the stadium, so you don't really hear anything. It's not really engaging. But with him doing it, it's been a lot more engaging. It's been a lot more fun to go back and actually watch the games.
Well, I'm waiting to see him. I don't watch so many games, but I'm waiting to see TJ, on the networks, commentating some of those sports. You probably know football, basketball, hockey. You probably know them all. But in any event,
I do. I know a lot, and I'm especially waiting for winter sports, because you get hockey, you get basketball, two sports I know a whole lot about. Football I also know a lot about, not only with real life football, but Rob and Luke actually know this, and I've mentioned this multiple times on my podcast. I'm actually a big fantasy football guy as well, and I know a lot with that.
All right. Well, in terms of, I'm going to, thank you. See, TJ's trying to get the last word, and I'm not going to let him out.
I mean, that is the name of my podcast.
That is the show.
That is the name of my podcast.
Well, this is my show today, TJ. You can have yours in another one. But in any event, I just want to say thank you to you all. It's been fun. I want to thank the chairman, John Stagnone, for asking me to come in to do this segment with you. So again, I want to thank you for viewing today. I want to thank all of you participating: Gina, Anya, John, Rob, the Luke, Miguel, and TJ. I want to thank all of you for all the work that you do, and I look forward to working with you in the future. So until then, please tune in for programming at SMAC whenever you have an opportunity, and have a blessed day.